Hey everyone, Jim and Chris back with another update. Big question today, block versus wood frame construction. We get this question all the time, and a lot of you have bought properties with us in different markets, and we do a combination. We do both block construction and wood frame. So we wanted to go into the weeds a little bit more on this because people seem really concerned. I can tell you from a personal standpoint, I live one property off the beach on a small barrier island near St. Augustine, Florida, and my house was built about 15 years ago, wood frame. So for me personally, when I decided to choose a home that I always wanted to live in, right next to the beach, near the intercoastal, I wanted to make sure it was obviously in good integrity. And wood frame was just fine for me for a couple of reasons I think that Chris is going to share with you. Because what I've learned with the newer property, both can be great. And sometimes, I know block has always had this bigger reputation for being better, but especially on older properties, it can actually be worse. So Chris, you are really the building master. When it comes to it, you know this part of the game a lot better than me. Can you kind of just dive a little deeper onto the difference in what you see with both options, which can be both great options, but I think wood frame also has gotten sort of a stigma against it.
Well, I think, here's the thing. In Florida, there's kind of been that dividing line, which is shifting, which is kind of the north part of the state versus the south part of the state. Yeah. And you see in Palm Coast and Ocala, they're still northern, but they're kind of the dividing line. And then south of that has been primarily block, since the 50s. Mm. Well, all of that's changing now, and part of the reason that all of that's changing is all of these hurricane codes have changed. Yeah. All houses, so for Florida, the biggest question that we get, particularly for folks in California, is about hurricanes. Yeah. What's going to happen in a hurricane? And I'm like, man, I'm more concerned about what are you going to do with all those wildfires? But but when everybody eats to their own. You get used to living with what you get used to living with. And we're used to living with hurricanes. You guys are used to living with fires out there in California.
We had a few earthquakes when I was out there too.
There you go. Yeah, you got a double whammy. But anyway, so really here in Florida, we just want to make sure that the homes can withstand hurricanes. First of all, most of the homes that we build are very far inland. We're not building any coastal properties, which is really what gets battered the most. But beyond that, both block and frame construction homes have to meet the same wind codes. So they're built different ways, and there's different construction methods to make sure that they meet those wind codes, but absolutely have to meet the same wind codes and same wind standards in order to get a building permit. So this isn't something where, hey, Chris knows how to build a house and he's building a house that can withstand the wind better than the next guy. There's a code, building code, that we cannot build anything that does not withstand these certain hurricane requirements. And there's certain ways to do it with strapping the roofs, so on and so forth. The real reason that there's been this dividing line in Florida for so many years between frame and block has really been trade base more than anything else. So in Jacksonville and the northern parts of the state, it's been frame construction because there's just not that many masons here. And so, if you go build a block home in Jacksonville right now, it's insanely expensive because there just aren't the trades available to do it. And the few trades that are here that do know how to build with block construction, they charge accordingly, supply and demand. So that's why you only see frame construction from us in the Jacksonville market. However, what we're seeing in these South Florida markets, and with the changes that have happened in the wind codes over the last 20, 30 years, and national home builders coming in with really well-built frame homes because of these codes, is we've started seeing frame construction pop up all over the state. And that is from Palm Coast to Ocala to Southwest Florida. And so for us, as a builder and a supplier of product, we look at what is going to be the most cost effective for our clients, because the product's going to be the same, so it's going to meet the same building codes. So what's going to be most cost effective for the clients? Well, for those of you that were buying homes from us, a year ago, 2 years ago, when lumber prices were absolutely skyrocketing and through the roof, we were real happy that we were building block in a lot of our markets. now lumber prices have come back down, concrete prices are through the roof. It's just this roller coaster that we can't seem to get off of. So, what we're looking at is in all of our markets is doing a combination of block and frame homes. And the real reason for that is just to make sure that with all these fluctuations, we have different product types that we can build in different times. So, we've got our 16, 17 square foot home that is a block home. The exact same home is a 1607 square foot home that we build out of frame. So when you change from block to frame, the interior square footage has changed, minutely. But we're going to be building that same home, same floor plan, and right now we can build it a little bit cheaper with frame than we can with block to try and keep the pricing affordable. And that's really what you see a lot of folks doing across the state right now. So, to Jim's point, there's no inferiority to frame construction. Actually, all of our frame construction right now is cladded in concrete board. So we use a Hardy product that clads the whole exterior of the home. Hardy is a cement board, and so so you get the same wear that you would get from a concrete home, meaning that you're not having to replace wood on the side of your home, which was back in the day what people used to think about when they thought of frame homes. Because frame homes used to be not only frame studs, but also wood slats on the exterior. Well, we don't do the wood slats on the exterior anymore. It's all Hardy board or some sort of cement board. So you get that same, really long wearing siding that you would get from a block home.
Yeah, and I think overall, the question always is, well, what about you and Chris? I own block homes, I own wood frame homes. Chris owns block homes, he owns wood frame homes.
Yeah.
How are they built? Again, for my personal residence, it's wood frame and it's one off the ocean. As Chris said, that's a higher danger risk, but the home was built correctly to standards that were set after 2004's Hurricane Charlie decimated Southwest Florida, which we just went through an even stronger hurricane, and we held up great because it was built at those new standards. So how is the property built? If you guys are looking at properties around Florida, we recommend, whether it's block or wood, is it built to today's standards after the 2004 upgrade in requirements? That's what we really look for. And at the same time, not only with strength, we need to get you guys the best return on investment. Again, this is a build-to-rent program to get you rental returns, to get you cash flow returns. And if we're building too expensive and it doesn't come back in rental yield, we're not doing our job for you. So we want to get that equilibrium, and I think we've struck a great one, as Chris said, using both in different markets and at different times, and still producing that same strength of a product in overall return. So we really have a 50-50 on this. We own both, we work in both, and we encourage you to look at both. And if you have any other questions, us or our sales team is happy to discuss deeper with you. Next time, we'll talk to you more. Take care, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good one, everyone.